How's it going, guys? Another Annihilation has gone and another has came. This time around, as you can see with my Orundum, if you've done some math, you can tell that I have done a few trial and error to bring you guys this full auto skill AFK kill of this new Annihilation. So let's begin. Full disclosure, I do not recommend you try this at home. No, warning, do not try this at home. Unless you have pretty much all maxed out operators, except for perhaps Palace and Whispering. They're really here just for a joke. You can switch out for any medic, and Palace is just random trust grinding. Everything else should pretty much be max level and M3. If you don't have this, don't try this at home. This is just for a show. This Annihilation is really annoying. I'll explain why later. Let us begin. This is actually my 5th run trying to make this full auto run. I have been through several 399 kills. So as usual, we begin with grinding some, making some DP. I put silver thorns there next to the device so he can activate the device to recover the nerve damage. Same with Scotty. Scotty is there for a reason to generate that. I have Ifrit up the top facing right, so anything that comes out from the top door, insta-gone. Extra, the same thing. Everything that's coming from the right side, hopefully almost gone whenever her skill is activated. Also, this device is activated. Blaze, I'm actually using Blaze to face down so that since Blaze has the resistance after being deployed for 15 seconds, it will really help this whole situation to not go too bad, hopefully. Also, I haven't really tested this run to make sure that it is stable, so if I screw up, you won't see this video. If this goes up, you know I've made it. So, Saria there is using skill 2 to heal pretty much everyone on the field. Whispering is down there early for a reason. Now, Silver Asher is using skill 1. He is just there as a meme as well. I really don't need Silver Ash whatsoever. Same with Palace, facing down. Silver Ash facing right with skill 1. Both skill 1s only. Really not necessary at all. Here, Thorns activates his skills. As you can see, Exia plus Ifrit really deals with the majority of the enemies from the right. I really love how much they are like helping me on this one. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to make this full auto run. And now we have our last element. We have a W facing left with Mind placing. Now, after we get Thorn's skill up again, that is the complete AFK. As you can see, I stopped at about 40 something kills. I would say that is fine. Now, let's talk about why this took me so many runs. So at the end of this run, no, not even the end of this run, for every single enemy that deals nerve damage in this, every time there is a small difference, right? So since when you're going into auto deploy, sometimes, this is my theory with like some friends discussion, is that since Arknights is calculated by frames, and when you record a run, they don't record maybe the perfect, frame. They maybe skip a frame sometimes, especially when you're going double speed. Typically would do that. And so sometimes when those enemies that deal nerve damage does it a bit slower or a bit faster, skipping a frame or not, that would create a whole new problem, because maybe this time your operator got stunned but it was fine. They would recover later and have the full nerve health bar thing full. But if they don't get that, then the next enemy will stun them, which is unexpected, and your whole defense line just goes boom. That is why this specific Annihilation was the one that really inspired me to make full auto run, just AFK runs, it's because from this, I felt like this is the safest way to not screw up. Because let's say, as an example, the first time I played this stage, I used Ash for the bottom left. There are some like those enemies that are coming from the left, and technically the time I tried it, she had the perfect timing, right? Perfect timing. She kills one, goes into cooldown, and then by the cooldown, when the cooldown is done, her skill is just perfectly up, right? I was like, oh my god, they designed this for Ash. After I finished the run and I did my first auto run in CN, boom, leak. Immediately, the whole thing just collapsed. Ash had her skill timing wrong for like a millisecond, so she hits the enemy first, and that just destroyed. Or sometimes she uses her skill late, and then the flower just runs through and exits her attack range, and I just lose. I just leak. And it is like this that made me feel that I need to go full AFK. There should not be any errors allowed by timing. As long as I'm going full auto, there is nothing that can be changed, right? Even if I, let's say, level up an operator, it's not like I was activating a skill anyway. So speeding up a bit, slowing down a bit, nothing would matter. I would be fine. Now, the other hardest part about this map is that, of course, there are a lot of lanes, and see, I'm already error risk detected. I'm pretty sure this is fine because this is still really early, but there are so many risks. And another thing that makes this Annihilation really hard to auto run is its length. So as I explained before, it records your actions by frames, right? And so sometimes, because of the length of the auto, one small error might be fine, just like what you saw then. Error risk detected, right? So one might be fine, but as you stack up more and more, after 15 minutes, 17 minutes, this run is, I think, 34 minutes, so double the speed, 17 minutes. The error just stacks up, and the chance of your auto run just gets worse and worse. And so if you really want to make sure that this run of yours is 100% safe, first of all, don't do really like risky timings, right? Don't be like, okay, I want to stun the enemy just before they leave these tile or anything like that. You have to make sure that your timing, you have to give the game like about a second or two to flex, right? You gotta let the auto have flexibility, or else you're screwed. You can be early, but you have to make it so that, let's say I want to stun the enemy in where Silver Ash is, as an example, right? I want to use a Project Red. I can't do it the moment the enemy enters her range, and I can't do it just before the enemy leaves her range. I have to make it in center. Center gives the most possibility to not screw up. And that is what you guys will need to do if you're trying to make a run of your own. Second of all is that make sure you don't level up any operators that is in this run for the next 2 months. No upgrading, no leveling up, okay? Because if you level up, some enemies die faster, like maybe Whisper Rain, like someone like Whisper Rain would be fine because she's not really dealing damage, and Saria as well because she's not really dealing damage. But everyone else, anyone that's dealing damage, do not level up, because the slightest increase in killing speed would be catastrophic for your entire run. That is the true rules. And yes, this Annihilation will last for 2 months, 8 weeks. So if you happen to to want to level up a character, most likely you'll have to do this whole entire thing all over again. So if you want this to be as stable as possible, do that. There is a way though, is do this once, get your 400 kills, and go back to Annihilation 3. I know it is a bit less sanity efficient or something like that, but at least you're saving your real life sanity to know that you're not gonna have, you know, all of a sudden you come back, you were like, you know, letting this do its own thing and you just go off and do something else, like I believe a lot of people do, since, you know, these are really long. You don't go off and then you come back and say, wait, 399? What you mean? And then you have to like go over all of this all over again. It is really painful. So if you don't want to suffer from that, you don't want the risk to suffer from that, maybe do it once and leave it. Just don't touch it for the next 2 months. That is probably one of the safest way, in my opinion, if you don't want to experience the pain that many of us CN players did. Whew. And after sharing all my experience, here we come, the 300 kill wave, and the BGM has changed. Now this is where the quote-unquote true challenge lies. As you can see, flowers are coming from the left, will start to become red, so the elite versions. Enemies from the top are becoming stronger. The flying fish thingies are getting stronger as well, red ones coming more frequently. And that is the reason I actually have Whisper Rain there, because I need a medic for my W to survive. Now Exia here, on the other hand, as you can see, is very stable. She is not going to let anything live. As long as you come into her range and her skill is activated, you're dead. And then the best thing about her is that her skill 3 is that, yes, the cooldown is there, it's quite short. And so for those enemies that are just standing still, she is really good. As you can see, it doesn't really matter the timing I put down my Exia. As long as I put her down, the enemies will die one way or the other. I've actually tried to place her down in different timings. Not once has she failed me. And here you see W coming back to like after the stun real quick, because Whisper Rain gave her resistance, which is very useful. Keep placing down mines, and yes, Blaze will not lose at all against these flowers because it hits 3. Blaze is very safe over there. Now another thing is that if I were you, I would try to keep these device activated. So either you're going to do the job, or you can let these robots do the job. Here I'm not using the robots, but obviously you can place your operators in such a way so that you will not kill these robots. That will actually be a huge benefit. Obviously here they're dying really quickly. My bad. I'm sorry, robot. You're trying to help. Now this is why I use W there. The stun. Make sure that these flowers can barely pierce my operators. Not completely no threat. Sometimes they will just use up all the mines. As you can see, it took so many mines just to kill one. Sometimes they just run through. But at least when they get to Thorns, they are almost dead. Thorns and Blaze. They're almost dead. That is my way of making sure that they don't really pose a risk against my main defense line. And also, these flowers have a really consistent tendency of going in circles. So just because you might misblock them once, don't panic. Okay, the best thing you can do in this Annihilation is don't panic. The moment you panic and you start putting down operators at random places, that is a sign of failing. Pause the game and remind yourself of the mechanic. These flowers do AoE nerve damage. The eggs, on the other hand, does not deal nerve damage unless they're attacked. So sometimes clear out those flowers ASAP. Kill those flowers as fast as you can. When they spawn, maybe you can put a Surtur down below and just kill the flowers that are just standing there, standing still. While these eggs, they pose no threat as long as you're at range, so Exia is really the best choice. so is Ifrit at this range. That is why I'm using Ifrit right here. She is very helpful in pretty much every Annihilation. No one can deny that. And here, as you can see, more flowers coming. So there is a huge risk at the end of this run, and that is when two of these flowers are both coming from the bottom and all threatening your main line. In that case, the nerve damage will actually stack up and everyone here will be stunned. That is the one thing I cannot risk, and that is why W is really here. If it wasn't for that last wave of two flowers, I wouldn't need to do this at all. Now this boss elite thing will just eventually die because I have, you know, Silver Ash skill 1, I have Thorn skill 3, all facing the right. Eventually when it comes, it's over. Here, I cheated a bit. I'm using the sea creature to heal my W. It's not really necessary. I did it anyway. And here, as you can see, I almost leaked. That is the threat of stun. So there are two ways you can solve this. First, kill them when they spawn. Second, add a resistant medic like Whisper Rain or Ceylon into your team and make sure that the moment they are stunned, they come back in half the time. That is how you deal with this, right? You either just kill them so they don't deal the nerve damage, or you just gotta recover ASAP so they can't run away. And I'm pretty sure that is the run. I have successfully made it through. Thank you very much, Auto. If I screw this up, it would be really awkward. But thank you, I have cleared it. And thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys find anything helpful and hope you guys the best in clearing this Annihilation. As you can see, it took me 31 minutes and 22 seconds. That is actually pretty fast. Another friend of mine actually took 34 minutes to clear this. So I would consider this pretty decent. Alrighty, hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next video where we talk about Summer Chen banner, like all the operators, not just Summer Chen, because everyone knows you gotta pull Summer Chen, right? I'll see you guys then. Bye.